Hello friends, this is Reddy from Wealthy Options. Welcome to 0DTE Pulse. Today is 10th June and we had a SENSEX expiry. So let's go and decode how the SENSEX expiry went today. So today as an underlying SENSEX tried to break the last 1 month range on the upside. So at very first opening candle itself, it tried to break the last 1 month range, but it faced a very steep resistance. And then in the first 5 minutes candle itself, it fell down like almost like a 250 points. But however, from the premium point of view, straddle premium, there was a significant decay in straddle premium yesterday. But today morning it opened with it was not a big overnight decay. I think it was a small overnight decay. It opened with a small overnight decay, but from the opening itself, it started falling. As though the Sensex was falling in the first 5 minutes, and it kind of settled in the next 5 minutes from 920 to 925. So absolutely, it was like a consolidation. So because of that, next 5 to 10 minutes consolidation. So premium started melting like anything. So straddle premium came down by almost like about 100 to 120 points, depending on whether you entered at 916 or 917 or some other time. So in next 10 minutes, straddle premium decayed by almost 120 points. But then came the bouncer. As usual nowadays, we see that in the underlying opening up and then getting beaten or gap up, but then there is a steep reversal. So that's what happened today also. But today's speciality is, I think around 928, Sensex suddenly fell by 250 points in just a matter of 5 seconds. What was even more interesting was the ATM, the put option. So the 82,500 was the ATM put option at that point of time. I was looking at that, and the put option shot up by 3 times, and the put option premium shot up by 300 and 350 points in just matter of 5 seconds. And even the straddle premium, it got shot up from it was let's look at, zoom it and see. As you could see, around from 929 onward, the straddle premium shot up from 335 to almost like a 470. So which is 130 to 140 points. So that spike in premium triggered all the put SLs, all the entries, all the straddle entries or strangle entries that entered before 928. So all the put stop losses got hit. The worst part is some of the stop losses suffered big slippage because the fall was so sudden. I had a slippage of, in some of the entries I had a slippage of almost like a 80 to 100 points, and some of the SLs also jumped. And the algo had to chase and close them at sort of a disadvantage front for some of the entries. And for a few entries, luckily, the market also recovered. So they kind of exited at where they were supposed to exit. But the point is, it was a big IV spike, and as a result of that, all the puts got hit. Okay, I was left out with only calls. In fact, the spike was so big, even for some of my entries, even the both put and call also got closed at the same time because of the rupee risk that I maintain on some of the strategies. And then it's a dramatic V shape. Sensex from the top to bottom, it's almost like it fell down by 650 points and then recovered it by 40 to 50 points in next half an hour to 40 minutes. So after this big green candle, so what happened is straddle premium started decaying. However, I had only calls. The market was going opposite to my direction, right? So luckily the calls were not spiking too much, but then as Sensex kept going up, so it took out my call SLs as well. So not all, I think most of 90% of the entries whatever I had, so both put and call SLs got suffered. In general, I don't maintain my system do not take much positions after 9:30 till 12 till noon. So I was just waiting to see how my system is going to recover this loss. By the way, when this all happened, my overall account got into around I think 0.65 percentage loss by this time. So it was a bad start. But as I mentioned in my previous video, so the morning entries generally, the people who wants to aggressively capture the theta decay, they enter the the aggressive strategies with higher position size. So I have been observing, like for the past 1.5 months, probably we can call it as a regime shift or whatever it is. The mornings it's getting very, very tough, right? And it's not only the morning, and during the day also, we have seen multiple IV spikes, but mornings have been exceptionally challenging, right? So as a result of that, my allocation to aggressive strategies, which mainly designed for capturing the theta decay, I have significantly reduced their allocation to as low as I think just 15 to 20 percentage. I used to play around 40 percentage of I used to trade with 40 to 50 percentage of aggressive strategies. I brought it down to I think close to around 15 percentage. So that saved me. Otherwise the loss in this fall would have been much more higher, right? So it was the account was in 0.6 to 0.65 percentage loss, and then the Sensex started settling down, but initially it was kind of it started turning choppy, right? And then slowly it started consolidating till 3 o'clock, eventually till 2 to the day. Then 3 o'clock eventually it broke the symmetric triangle, right? So it was a whole day of consolidation during the rest of the day, and in fact it formed a pattern of symmetric triangle, right? So as it started consolidating, it was a very, very steady decay in Sensex for the rest of the day, except for couple of small spikes, right? And then one of this spike, my algos took an advantage. If you look at the time was around 10:55, and this is when the Sensex it tried to recover, and it consolidated for some time, but then again there was a sudden fall, this sudden fall which broke this low swing low in 5 minutes chart, and then that triggered a kind of I think 50 to 60 points IV spike in straddle premium. See, the fall is fine, but when the fall happens suddenly, so that will lead to huge demand for options buying. So and that will shoot up the IVs, right? So as a result of that, straddle premium shot up, and then my algos which I designed to short the IV spikes perfectly landed into these entries. I think there are 3 entries which entered 82,400 straddles, and at the peak price of the premium, I think the straddle premium was around 360 or 370. They got very good premium. So, and then though after that Sensex recovered, but it was a very, very sharp decay in straddle premium from 11 o'clock till the end. There was some hiccups at 3 o'clock. When apart from that, I think it was a very, very steady decay, and straddle premium stopped falling from I think 1 o'clock to I think 1:30 and all. That's because the premium was already decayed. By 1 o'clock itself, I think the straddle premium was trading at 125, and in general, you cannot expect a further steep decay till close to the expiry. So this is what happened later. So all my entries after this, like be it 12, 15, whatever it is, all the entries till 2:30, they all either took 82,400 straddle or 82,500 straddle. The skew, there was a skew in the premium. When I say skew, the call premium was like 40, and put premium was 80. But as Sensex was going up and down, so some of the entries took 82,400 straddle and some 82,500 straddle. So as a result of that, overall premium, there was a balance, if you look at the account level. And at after 2:30, there was a kind of an interim spike, and at this interim spike also I had some strategies which will enter on the any small IV spikes and all. I mean, some of them got triggered and they also captured some of the theta decay. So that's how the day was going, and by 3 o'clock I think my account completely recovered all the losses, and in fact, I mean, account was in profit by I think it was in profit by 0.4 or 0.45 percentage. But then, as usual, the 3 p.m. moves, sometimes I would say, I mean, many times it may go against your moves, but I mean, sometimes it may go in your favor. But I mean, when it goes in your favor, you can make quite a lot of money after 3 o'clock, because the decay will be very aggressive, and your MTM will jump in no matter of time, right? But today 3 p.m. move did not go in my favor, so I was hoping for in a best case scenario, I was hoping for a close of Sensex closing at between 82,400 and 82,500, but Sensex had its own plan, so it tried to break the go towards the day low, and that's when all the puts like 82,500 puts and 82,400 puts, they shot up very quickly. As a result of that, I mean, many of I won't say many, I mean, probably many of 82,500 puts took a hit, but around 50% of 82,400 puts they took a hit here. But then still half of them, half of the straddles were left, and many of the calls were left. Calls were going to the zero, and then there was a big green candle as well. So because of all this, my MTM, which was in 0.4 percentage profit, at 3 p.m. and it got into almost like 0.05 or 0.1 percentage profit. I mean, most of the profits gone, and then but because of this recovery again, and as straddle premium and the Sensex started settling down around 82,400 levels. I mean, I'm talking about the last half an hour weighted average. So it was trying to settle down around 82,400. So, and as a result of that, I mean, most of the 82,400 straddles, they almost captured the full premium. Like, I think the 82,400 straddle closed around 88 rupees, or let's look at that. I think 8 rupees or something, and so those algos, they mostly captured almost most of the decay. So that's how my MTM, it came back to again I think 0.3 percentage. So finally I ended with a profit of overall profit of 1.2 lakhs, which is around I think 0.3 percentage in terms of percentage on my account size. So this is one of the big account. I mean, I took in 62k profit, and this is a small account where I traded aggressive strategies. It took a beating of kind of 7k. I think it was, I mean, this account was in a loss by almost like a 40k, but I mean, afternoon entries came to save it, and then there was a recovery of almost 34k. So this account ended with 7k. And then there is a third account, this account. So this big account, it ended up with profit of 60, I mean close to 64k. So overall it's a 1.2 lakhs profit at the end of the day, which works out like a 0.3 percentage in terms of ROI. So the key learning was, I think, good to have. You need to have, nowadays you need to have some strategies to counter the IV spikes and try to take an advantage. So when you enter the IV spike kind of a strategies, sometimes if the IV spike continues, obviously, I mean, you will take further loss. But if you get a good premium and Sensex underlying starts settle down, and premium gets cooled off, you will make a very good profit. I mean, those entries can cover up quite a lot of your loss, and they can even actually turn your account, I mean your negative MTM to positive MTM. That's what happened in my case, for the entries, I mean, which entered around 11 o'clock, right? So that's all for the day. I don't think so I have anything else to cover, and if you have any doubts or any queries, as usual, you can put all your doubts in comments of this video, and I'll see, I mean, how soon I can answer your queries. So with that, I'll see you in my next episode, which is on Thursday with the Nifty expiry. Signing off, ready. Bye.